Free audio post-production by alphonic.com.
Hi everyone, I'm Brittany. Welcome to Randomness, where we talk about a little bit of everything, the deep, the weird, and the real. So take a breath, open your mind, and let's get into it. Hi everyone. So this episode is brought to you by insomnia, Wikipedia, and my inability to just go to sleep like a normal person. Yeah, so it's 2 a.m., I'm lying in bed, and I start thinking about soulmates. You know, that whole thing, twin flames, the one, written in the stars, your other half. We talk about it all the time, like in spiritual circles, looking at Venus placements and charts, wondering if the universe is ever going to drop the perfect person on your doorstep. And I'm lying there thinking, where did this idea even come from? Like, why do we feel like we're missing a piece of ourselves? Why are we all walking around convinced there is someone out there who completes us? So naturally, I do what any reasonable person does at 2 a.m. I open Wikipedia. And guys, I ended up in a very strange place. I started at Soulmates. And within about 10 clicks and 20 minutes, I'm reading about lobotomies. Yep, specifically a doctor who drove around in a van performing brain surgery with a freaking ice pick to cure people of their emotions. So today, I just want to take you through this rabbit hole with me because what started as in like, aw, soulmates, turned into, oh God, humanity is terrified of feelings really quickly. So let's get into this, okay? I started at the Wikipedia page for soulmate. I mean, I think most of us have been there, just checking compatibility, looking at astrology, wondering if this person is the one. It's such a deeply embedded concept in how we think about relationships. But I just wanted to know, where does this idea actually come from? Is it universal? Is it ancient? Or is it something we made up more recently? So I'm reading, and one of the first things mentioned is Plato, the ancient Greek philosopher. And I'm like, okay, Plato has thoughts about soulmates. Well, let's click. So, yeah, I land on Plato's Symposium, which is this ancient text where a bunch of philosophers are sitting around drinking wine and debating the nature of love, as one does. And there is this guy named Aristophanes who tells this absolutely wild story. He says that originally humans weren't like we are now. We were these round, 8-limbed creatures with 2 faces, 4 arms, 4 legs. Basically we were spherical superhumans, and we were powerful. So powerful that the gods got nervous. We were rolling around, doing our thing, and Zeus was like, these humans are getting too cocky. We need to do something. So what does Zeus do? He slices us in half with a lightning bolt. Boom, suddenly we are these incomplete beings with only 2 arms, 2 legs, 1 face. And according to Plato, that's why we spend our whole lives searching for our other half, because we are literally trying to find the person we were split from. It's romantic, right? It's the ultimate relationship goal. Your soulmate is out there. You just have to find them. And when you do, you will feel whole again. But pause for just a second. Think about what that idea does to us psychologically. I mean, it means you're inherently incomplete. You're not whole on your own. You're wandering around with this built-in deficiency that can only be fixed by finding one specific person. That's kind of a heavy burden, isn't it? we use language like my better half, or you complete me, or my missing piece, and we think it's sweet. But underneath it is this belief that you, as you are, aren't good enough. And from a psychological standpoint, that's some deep ancestral programming right there. Anyway, so I'm reading about Plato's myth, and I see a link, something about lovesickness, and I'm curious. Lovesickness is just a metaphor, right? Like you're not actually sick, you're just really into someone or whatever. Nope. Turns out, lovesickness was an actual medical diagnosis. For centuries, doctors believed that being too in love, too heartbroken, or too emotionally invested in someone was a legitimate illness that needed treatment. So, of course, I clicked the link, and from lovesickness, there's another link that catches my eye. Female hysteria. I'm thinking, oh shit, here we go. So now I am on the page for female hysteria, and this is where the vibe of my little research project completely shifts. In the 1800s and early 1900s, if a woman was too emotional, if she was too passionate, too heartbroken, too independent, too anything, doctors didn't say, oh, she's just dealing with big feelings. No, they said she was mentally ill. Female hysteria was a catch-all diagnosis for basically any woman who didn't fit into the narrow, acceptable range of emotions. Too sad, hysteria. Too angry, hysteria. Too interested in sex, hysteria. And the medical establishment literally believed that women's emotions were pathological. They thought that the uterus could wander around the body, causing madness. Yes, really, a wandering womb. And here's the connection back to our soulmate thing. The same intensity of feeling that we romanticize in the search for the one, that passion, that longing, that sense of incompleteness, was literally treated as a disease. Think about that jump. We went from I'm searching for my other half to your emotions are so out of control that you need medical intervention. I think it shows how terrified society has always been of intense human emotion. Yeah, we either turn it into a cosmic spiritual mission or we pathologize it as something broken that needs to be fixed. But okay, so I'm reading about hysteria and the various treatments they used, which, let me tell you, are horrifying. And I see a link for psychosurgery. Yeah, I should have stopped clicking. I should have closed my laptop and gone to sleep. But no, I click it, and that's how I ended up reading about the lobotomy at 2:30 in the morning. Specifically, a guy named Walter Freeman. Walter Freeman didn't think you needed a soulmate to feel whole. He thought you needed a piece of your brain removed. He pioneered something called the transorbital lobotomy, also known as the ice pick lobotomy, where he would literally insert an ice pick through your eye socket into your brain and sever connections in your frontal lobe. The goal? To cure people of anxiety, depression, emotional outbursts, and yes, lovesickness. And this guy, he was so convinced this was a good idea that he drove around in a van he called the Lobotomobile. I think that's how you say it. Anyway. So he was performing these procedures on people, just casually doing brain surgery in a van with an ice pick. And he performed over 3,000 of these procedures. And the results? People became docile, emotionless, essentially zombies. Their anxiety was cured because they could barely feel anything at all. Some people died. Many were permanently disabled. Almost all were robbed of their emotional capacity. But hey, they weren't crying about their soulmate anymore, so successful, right? So anyway, let me connect the dots here because I promise this isn't just a random collection of dark historical facts. I started this rabbit hole asking, why do you feel incomplete without a romantic partner? And what I found is this trajectory. So we are incomplete because the gods literally split us in half and we need our other half to be whole. And intense emotions about relationships are a disease. Women who feel too much have hysteria and need to be treated. And if you can't control your emotions, we'll remove the part of your brain that feels them. Do you see the pattern though? Humans are terrified of intense emotions. We always have been. We don't know what to do with longing, with passion, with the ache of wanting someone, with the devastation of heartbreak. These feelings are so big and so uncomfortable that we have been trying to explain them away or eliminate them for thousands of years. If we can't make sense of these emotions, we turn them into mythology, divine punishment, cosmic separation. If mythology doesn't work, we medicalize them, diagnose them as illness. If that doesn't work, we surgically remove them. Literally take out the part of the brain that feels. The through line is big feelings are dangerous, emotional intensity is a problem, and we will go to extreme lengths to make them manageable. So what does this mean for us, sitting here in 2026, still wondering about soulmates and twin flames? Well, I think it means a few things. First, the idea that you need another person to complete you is old programming. It goes back thousands of years, and it was never actually about finding your other half. It was about explaining why human beings feel longing and incompleteness. But guess what? You're not incomplete. You're whole right now. The longing you feel isn't because a God split you in half. It's just what it feels like to be human, to want connection, to desire intimacy, to hope for partnership. That's just being alive. Second, we are still collectively really bad at dealing with intense emotions. We don't pathologize them the way we used to, thank God. But we still try to fix them, manage them, optimize them. We do therapy, which is good. We medicate, which is sometimes necessary. We manifest and meditate and journal and do breath work, all of which can be helpful. But sometimes the underlying message is still these feelings are a problem that needs to be solved. What if they're not? What if intense emotion, including the longing for connection, is just part of being human? What if we don't need to fix it or transcend it or find the one person who makes it go away? Third, maybe be a little gentler with yourself about the whole soulmate thing. If you're someone who believes in twin flames and soul contracts and cosmic connection, awesome. That framework helps you make sense of relationships, and that's valid. If you're someone who thinks the soulmate concept is psychologically damaging and creates unrealistic expectations, also cool. That's a fair critique. But wherever you land, recognize that this longing for the one is deeply human and deeply old. You're not broken for feeling it. You're not naive for wanting it. And honestly, at least we're not living in 1940 where your search for a soulmate could get you a one-way ticket to the Lobotomobile. Yeah, so there's that. Anyway, I guess the moral of this 2 a.m. Wikipedia spiral is be kind to yourself about your big feelings, whether it's longing for a relationship, heartbreak over a breakup, or just the general ache of being human and wanting connection. Those feelings are valid. They're not a disease. They're not a problem. They're not evidence that you're incomplete. They are just what it feels like to be alive. And yeah, maybe don't go down Wikipedia rabbit holes at 2 a.m. or do. I mean, I ended up with a podcast episode out of it, so maybe it was worth it. But I want to hear from you guys. Do you believe in soulmates? Does the idea feel romantic and beautiful, or does it feel like a trap? Does it help you or hurt you? Let me know, guys. Email me. I want to hear your take. But thank you for being here listening to this weird rabbit hole with me today. So yeah, stay curious, stay weird, and maybe close Wikipedia before you end up reading about lobotomies when you're just trying to understand love. Until next time, remember, you're already whole. You don't need another person to complete you, and definitely don't let anyone near your brain with an ice pick. All right, guys, that's it for today. Thanks so much for listening. If you enjoyed today's episode, make sure to follow. And remember, keep your energy grounded, your mind open, and your curiosity alive.
Free audio post-production by alphonic.com.